feel a little anxious since I don't have a return ticket yet. So my first agenda is to find a ticket station. So new destination, and I'm outside. Question is, how do I get a return ticket? I'm sure there's a ticket machine somewhere here, so I want to make sure that I'll be able to do that before leaving this place. I don't want to be too comfortable. So judging from the place, although you see a lot of cafes, it's a harbor town. So this is not really our destination, I mean the town, but it looks interesting, having that alley and those old buildings around it. And hopefully this is the central station, or the station of Helsingør. So this is a pretty impressive building for a secondary city, if I can say it that way. Still the same building, and now I'm seeing the copper up close, how it patinated. It's really green. So wish me luck, because I'm still looking for the ticket billeter. I'm so glad I found it. So where's the machine? Oh no, I think I have to go up. So they have the theme of shipping here. No wonder the museum that we're going to is all about the maritime industry and history of Copenhagen. Holy shit. This is a ticket station for a ship ride. I don't know where. Make sure to find a ticket station. This was something for the ship, and I don't want to get lost further. I think I'm seeing the station. So I saw it earlier, but I wasn't sure if it was it because the door was closed. And since there's not a lot of people, who would have thought that this is the station already? Because normally you'll have a lot of crowd going in and out of the station. So I can see the red machine, something familiar. So I'll get the ticket. Probably, maybe I'll check the hours, because if I set my time here it will be unlimited. So beautiful station, same architecture as the one in Copenhagen. I will get the right time for departure, and I'll be here for the right departure time. So the next step is, wow, it's automatic. Who would have thought an old building that is automatic? So again, you have those green roofing, harbor town, very quiet, which is good. Not too touristic yet. Maybe it's off season. and most of the people I see seem to be locals. And then you have some nice alleyways which I think we can explore later on, but our priority is to go to that museum. So just to give you a background where we are, that's the station. If you're coming from Copenhagen, this will be the last station, so you really won't get lost. So this is north of Copenhagen, and the train ride was about 45 minutes. From the looks of it, it looks like a charming town, and hopefully we have some time later to explore this area. This seems to be the old part of it. And then I'm sure you're seeing a ship, an old kind of ship. I remember when I was a kid, my uncle gave me a ship to build, like with all the strings and the shell of it, but I wasn't able to complete it because it was just too complicated for my age, because I was still a kid back then. But obviously we are in a harbor town. It has a lot of docks, and the maritime industry and history is very strong in Denmark. It's part of their heritage. That is why they built this museum. And if I'm not mistaken, that castle over there is the Hamlet Castle, the one of Shakespeare, and it's also called the Kronborg Castle. So I have nice cobblestone steps, and we have another modern building over there, which is really interesting for a town that is not really that popular amongst tourists. And to be honest, I wouldn't have come here if we're not for the building that we're visiting. So for a place like this, to build a design like that, it looks very cosmopolitan, is actually something new to me, because obviously the Danes build their architecture really well, because they already have a lot of old buildings. If they're going to build something, they have to do it better, they have to do it really well. So of course, back in the Philippines, to have a development or an architecture like that in a provincial town is impressive. It's going to be impressive, but it's a dream. So we have nice steel and rusting trash bins, wooden benches. It's becoming a very common element in a Danish urbanscape. And then I wonder if that is a shopping mall or institutional building. And maybe I'm also wrong. Maybe Helsingør is an important city of Denmark. It's a capital of maritime industry and history. Much like our secondary cities. But I've never heard of Helsingør before, and it's only now that I've encountered that name. Reminds me of the Vikings, reminds me of Thor, because of the letter O slash O. So this is the culture yard based on the label. So we'll see if we can access it. I will try my best to find time to explore this building, but as you can see, it is impressive. It has remnants of the old, and then the new is just trying to pop out of the building, of the old building. So it's like a mutilated old building. Oh no, that's the old building, and then of course this became organic. So I guess this is a U-shaped type of old building, and then mutilated somewhere here. And then we have a nice canopy situation happening here, and we'll try to find out what it's about, why it had to produce this way. And like I said, they're very fond of aluminum perforated panels. So of course we're very familiar with these chairs. If I was the designer, if I use this design language with all the triangles, I'll be using this chair. So enough of this as a preview, because this is not really our priority stop. We came all the way from Copenhagen, an hour ride from the city, just to see this museum, and I think we are approaching it. So I guess I was right. This is the Kronborg Castle, and the architect Bjarke Ingels didn't want to overwhelm the presence of this castle. But how about this building? So that is why the Maritime Museum of Denmark was sunken. So to celebrate the history of the maritime industry in Denmark, they built a museum that is underground, almost I think 8 meters below sea level. And you see how subdued and humble the presence of the museum. You have to go down because it's sunken. It's located around the void. So let's look around first around the museum, and you can see the interventions of the architect. So this is the old dockyard, and they preserved the studs. If you can see the studs. So it's all the old dockyard has a 1.5 meter wall, and I also read that it has a 2.5 meter thick flooring. That I'm not sure about the detail, but you can see that it is left unfinished, bare, letting nature do its thing. And then this is a bridge connecting to the Kronborg Castle, definitely part of the design of Bjarke. And this is the other side of the dock. I mean, this is the entire dockyard. So instead of building something on top of it, if I'm not mistaken, they preserved the void, or created this void, and then they built the museum around this void. So they didn't touch this area, and then they created the plans around the void. So you see that window, it's actually a cutout from the thick wall of the old dock walls. So if you can imagine a rectangular plan around this void, that is the galleries around it, and they celebrate the docks by creating this void, creating this public space 8 meters below sea level. I'm not sure if the sea level refers to this level or this level, but I'm pretty sure it's this level. So and then you can see that you won't see the galleries right now, but I would imagine that the galleries are under the park where the car is passing by, and under this grass area, around this area, under it. And these are bridges. There's a bridge going to Kronborg Castle. There's a staircase going down, so that as Bjarke mentioned, this is meant to be an open space for the locals and for the visiting tourists. And then you can access the cafe through that staircase. And I'm just not sure if you're allowed to wander around the sunken courtyard, because it's meant to be enjoyed by everyone. So, and then you have a bridge connecting the two galleries, and then above the bridge is a bridge. On top of the bridge is the entrance going to the museum, to the Maritime Museum. So you are meant to enjoy this void as a celebrated, almost like a sacred place for the maritime industry, if you want to call it. And they just use very traditional cobblestones, and then and I believe this is granite, like to resemble the bollards that we have in parks, so that you can limit the access, so that it will prohibit cars from going through this area. Because can you imagine an uncontrollable car running here? So these are like bollards, and according to what I read, these are arranged like Morse code. So Bjarke or his company has a furniture subsidiary called Kibisi, and I think they are the ones who designed this. So it looks soft, but it's actually very hard. It's made of granite. So I want to go around first, but we can already have a glimpse of the beautiful bridge they designed as an entrance, as an arrival experience for this museum. So I guess they provided some seating areas here if you just want to just sit. And it's actually a zigzag type of bridge, and you can hear some descriptions or guides, voice guides in the background. So I would imagine that the gallery is located somewhere here under us, and then such a nice transition from a paved area and then a grassy area, like the landscape of Scandinavia, and then you have a beautiful castle that Bjarke wanted to celebrate and preserve its vintage vantage point or view, preserve its dignity and identity without creating something imposing. So that's somehow they try to create that's how they curate their city and show how they respect their history, and then they create a separate impact for the modern architecture and have its own presence. So from here you can see the zigzag arrival bridge, and the entrance is 125 Danish krone. And this is the modern building that we encountered along the way. So a beautiful view of the Hamlet castle. So such a nice relationship between these two buildings, because you have history and then you have something that is very futuristic. Oh, this is what I've been seeing in the photos. A really nice view of the auditorium, how they design it. Like you can see what's happening inside. If there's an event, if there's a talk, it's animated by the people inside it, and people will see it from the courtyard. A really beautiful design, a really beautiful intervention. So it's made of pine. Even the chairs were created to match the flooring. So you have the concrete steps and then just steel siding to secure the grass. So it's time for us to go inside, and this is, I like the profile of the railing, and the glass is actually very thick. I don't know if you notice it from how I'm holding this glass. So the gap is just, the gap is just a gap, there's no silicone securing it. And then this is about probably 1.5 inches, and then you have a thin profile of the steel railing. Again, very industrial material. So Maritime Museum of Denmark. So for the signage, they have a cutout. This is made of steel. Very clean cutout. Very traditional font. and just cut out on a metal sheet of different thicknesses. And then you can see the wood on the old dock wall. And without being super imposing, even the environmental graphic design is just on the glass railing as a sticker. So this is again made of steel with lines to create some sort of friction so that people won't lie down. And then from this view you can still see, I think that the reason why this angle this way is because so that you can look at the Kronborg castle from here. So a nice referencing of the historical landmark with the museum. So we are entering the shop. Hopefully we can buy something later on. Cool. Oops. Hi.
Hi.
One adult ticket.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm a little slow counting.
It's okay.
This. Wait, hold on.
Yeah. One more.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Around the arm. Oops, sorry.
Alright.
And this ticket works the whole day, so you can go out and come back in with this one on
Alright.
if you want to.
Alright.
And you have locker boxes and the restrooms out here.
Alright.
And the entrance is behind you in the blue corner.
Okay.
You're ready to go in.
Okay, thank you for the instruction.
You're welcome.
Alright, thank you. So I guess I will try the locker first. There's so many goodies that I'm eyeing now. So unfortunately I don't have a key. So I don't know how to operate this. I guess they left the key. They provide a key. So for now, all of this stuff will stay here, except for my phone, for potential Instagram moments. So now we can enjoy this freely, and then just to check out how the bathroom was designed. It's all green as a contrast to the black locker area, and then it's a nice long stainless steel vanity sink. So you have the PWD area, and then we have the cubicles. So basically these are just painted, so with the colors of the Maritime Museum that they brand this with. So definitely we'll get one of those brochures that is all black to make the bathroom stand out. So definitely we cannot go inside the bathroom, the female. Okay, this is really eye candy because I like going to museum shops because it provides one-of-a-kind items that you can display in your house, or some memorabilia versus those cheesy what they call it, cheesy souvenirs you get from tourist traps, tourist stores. So even the bags the bags are really nice, and I've been wanting to get the bag. Oh wow. Right, so there's a line, so I guess I have to wait first. Holy crap. Okay, I think I'm buying something because they're not Rains. I already have this bag. I have this brand already, that is why. Okay, I'll come back for you. So I guess there's a limit to people coming here. So again, this celebrates the history of the maritime industry. That's why it has exhibitions on the desire of man to explore the shores, what goes beyond the horizon, and that's why it has those black and white photos and footages of people manning their ships. So interesting installation. I think this was done by another company. So this is how they curated it, and I wonder if this is part of Bjarke's plan to talk with the curator, and then and if this is going to be a permanent exhibit, because if it's not, then definitely this can be changed, but I have a feeling this is permanent. So this is another section, so we have the option to go straight forward. So they're like boxes of cargo in a ship. That's why you have this, but it doesn't feel permanent. And so is the cargoes in a ship. So I guess this is where we are. I'm looking for the Kronberg Castle. I'm not so sure, but I have a feeling that the train was forget it. I don't know. That can't be it. But anyway, so moving on, we have the boxes, holding models. Some are actually memorabilia. Okay. Venice. I have a feeling that this is the changing exhibition. So normally in a museum you have a permanent and then you have the temporary exhibition, and in this case this is the temporary showcased exhibition. Yeah, right, this is about Venice. That's why when you check the website it also updates regarding the exhibition, and I can see the symbols of Venice, such as these ones. And Venice being surrounded by water, definitely it's a maritime town. It's a harbor town. Of course we have artifacts. We're not gonna go to each one of these because you ought to come here. So it's called the Arsenal Workers. So which one of the okay, the architect, the nautical architect, and yeah, basically I just want to give you a preview of their changing exhibition. Right now, currently October 2022, it's about Venice. Okay. And how do you like it so far? So there's an elevator to the cafe, the one that we saw earlier, and when it comes to the plan, this is a I think here, this is where we are, and we've been here. Like it was really planned for us to make us feel like it's really tight here, and then it goes wider and then becomes the temporary exhibition. So there are more exhibition spaces here. So basically, based on the floor plan, you know that these are the main spaces. So and the rest are interesting ancillary programs. So this goes down to the cafe. There's an elevator behind me, and we have a view of the auditorium, and now we have the cafe, and this is canned tuna over there. And again, it's not a normal type of cafe. It has this you have to dine under the stairs, the main stairs, and then this is made of beautifully crafted steel railing, about 80 millimeters thick, with nicely cut aluminum panels, and just looking at the details, really impressive. So the exhibitions continue. Who would have thought? Like, this is a very narrow space. I thought this was the end already because they really made this very thin, so they didn't really want to touch so much of the outdoors. That's why maybe they limited the area to altar underground. So I wish to see a profile of the thick walls around the old docks. I'm curious to see that. So I guess this is about World War. Yeah, so this is this might be real. And interestingly, all the ships are displayed as if it's already sinking. So you have that feeling that, you know, it's all about destruction. To give you that very discomforting feeling. And that's what museums are meant to be, like, to give you that experience, so that the learning is sensorial. So this is the underside of the auditorium, and the remaining space, you know, interestingly can become, you know, a hangout area. So for other people this will be a wasted space, but, you know, in an architectural exercise, this is actually one of those remaining spaces that makes the building interesting. So yeah, this is the 1.5 meter wall. It's really thick, and this is how it looks like, the sections of it. Okay, so this is the glass, and this is probably, I don't know, vent or something that warms the space. And this is the profile of the auditorium. So this is rubber, this is glass, this is pine wood. Beautiful, and you can smell the wood. And basically it's just cut diagonally, and that creates the seating area, and that is where you will talk. And probably this is actually a nice configuration. I didn't expect it to be like this, like the diagonal, this half of the diagonal can become the stage, and the people are still looking at you. That's why they made this glass, so that these guys at the bottom will still see you. So there's a cocktail area, so after the event or after the talk. So pine wood, beautiful chair, and it's fixed. You cannot rotate it. So, and you can see the other bridge. That is the bridge going to the entrance. So there are 2 levels in this museum. So this is the entire side of it, and there are 2 levels designed for us to explore. So pine wood, aluminum panel perforated, and then you have some lighting, then just concrete, and then, you know, aluminum flooring, and then you have nice circular chairs over there. And I think this is the section talking about industry and shipping containers. So definitely talks about the Danish shipping industry. So the world is becoming very diverse. You know, we create museums for special things, or things that actually change our history, and one of them is shipping. So you have the option to go up, and then I guess sit down. These are all made of steel. These are steel sections. Oh, I also read that the bridges were actually the steel sections were actually very huge, and they had to ship it from China. and they had the biggest ship that docked in Helsingør just to bring it here to carry all this load. So so this is another big space for the exhibition, and then you have a nice stair-like form that can be like an amphitheater, so that probably somebody can talk here and hang out here. Actually, this is actually cushioned, surprisingly, so I think I'm gonna copy this design because it looks I've been trying to create a cushion that is squarish, that looks sturdy and rigid and yet soft. So this is probably how they do it. It's just made of leather. So yeah, so there's a steel section, and then you have the concrete as well. So so you have the stainless steel railing here, and then you have concrete benches. So there are some incidences in these spaces where you don't expect that it's the entrance or the exit, because I was here when I entered, and you know, I turned my back because I thought this was, you know, a back part of the museum. But I'm back to where I was, and startingly, you know, you notice the sloping floor. So I want to go out again. So this is a concrete column. Again, this is already outside the dock. So this is the addition that they did away from the 1.5 meter thick wall. So they also created the displays that are floating so that it feels lighter. And then they have a nice stainless steel that looks like a ship, as well as a counter space for the tickets. And then you can see that it's all maritime themed with the merchandise. The website also indicates that. So let's try to go out. Anyway, we can come back and enjoy more view of the exterior. So you can see how they terminated it. Although the 1.5 meter starts here, or maybe here. So there's the wood, and then it goes all the way here. I don't think this is 1.5. And then there's the stainless steel ceiling, and then there's some nosing or some termination to define that this area. So I wonder if this wood is part of the old docks. And then you have a separate stair entrance going to the courtyard. And what I plan to do is that we access the courtyard through the stairs. So we're going up, and it's another way that way, because the stair going down is on this. Oh wait, where is it? Ah yeah, it's a bit far from here because on the other side. And now you can see kids. We were just there earlier, and now it's being used as a lecture area. So they have the option to use the other half of the diagonal as a stage, or use it as a more relaxing space for lecture. So that's what new architecture, new ideas in architecture provide us. It really challenges the status quo. So I'm not sure how this is arranged as Morse code. Maybe because of the randomness, you have a long one, and then you have just a dot, long dot 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 dot. And according to the designers, Kibizi, the provider of this, you are meant to guess what the Morse code means. So I don't know if somebody even attempted to answer that. So this is the other side, and you can see the vent again covered in pine. And the Kulberg Castle again inside the fortified walls. So going down again, the steps are made of steel, that are striated, so to prevent you from sleeping, with a rubber lining. So it narrows down to the bottom. For as long as you provide enough, or you know, the minimum width for probably 2 or 5 people, this is actually okay. So the wide dimension is actually just an exaggeration. So in design is actually okay. But if the narrowest portion is just 0.5 or 1 meter, then that's an issue. I can smell the algae. Okay, so we are here at the courtyard. On my right side is the cafe. So I was right, that is the changing exhibition. So they provided some benches, so probably if we get some food from the cafe, you can dine here, and then you can see the events happening. So again, a lot of the influences of OMA can be seen in big projects. Like you can see the different events, activities, as if it's part of the architecture. So there's a shoot going on over there. So I don't wanna intervene. I don't want to disturb them. So you have this, I don't know what you call this, but definitely something part of the old docks. That's why it's there. And then the floor is turning green, and then I see the stair going up. I don't know what's that for. So an interesting space. And then you can see an office under it, a study center, and then even the steps, even the auditorium with the chairs going down doesn't actually stop there. The underside of the aluminum floor area is actually a repetition of the auditorium with the pine steps. Okay, and then you can see the people from above at the arrival area. So we're just going up to this point because there's a shooting happening over there. It's a fashion shoot, I reckon. So they made this more fun by putting stickers, and I'm sure that's not permanent. So this is it. Here you can see the underside of the bridge, also in aluminum cladding. And in my design, normally I would be anal with the lines or the modules aligning together with the cuts. But here it's not aligned. They're not very conscious of that. And I guess, like what I said, if the intent and the architecture idea is strong, that won't matter. So this is another example of it. So this cut is not really aligning here, or maybe it's intentional that it's alternate. So this one is in the middle of this module, so as that one. So I guess it was intentional. So it just basically screwed on the I don't know what's under it or above it. So I'm glad that we were able to visit this place. So and we've been around the gallery, and now we are at the courtyard. So I guess I'm gonna leave you here, and again, thank you for watching, and I hope that you see more architecture with me.